So nothing says you mean business like a massive upper back. So today we're going to go over pull downs and its variation for growth. So almost every gym has a lat pull down. It doesn't have to be exactly like this one, but there are some key variables on how to make your lats grow. And one of those key variables is slow the hell down. So when you're doing these pull downs, it's okay to have some power on the way down, right? Go this way hard. But when I come up, I like to count in about a 5-second count. Then I get a big stretch, pull hard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The lats love to grow in a controlled, slow state, much like the calves. So if I'm using my lats in a slow, controlled state, I'm actually going to get more growth than if I go heavier and faster. The trick with muscle hypertrophy, especially in the back muscle, is to kind of counteract the stretch reflex, meaning take away the tendon in the muscle. So basically what I'm doing is when I slow down the eccentric or this phase right here, my lat has to do all the work. There's no stored kinetic energy that's helping me do that lift. So really for hypertrophy, in my opinion, the big factor is controlling the eccentric or the upward motion. And that is going to make this area grow like crazy. The next thing is variation. So as you can see with this Wenning strength turned up bar, my hands are actually going to have to go the opposite way of most bars. What we have found with this angle is that it actually recruits more lat tissue. But the other thing is just different. So with a fatter handle turned a different way, the body's going to have to work in a different way and be harder. So I like to grab out where it's turned outward. And then when I'm doing my pulls, I could do them the standard way, right? I could do them way out in front of me, which is going to be different, or I could pull them to my eyebrow. The trick is, none of these variables are right or wrong. The wrong way to do something is the exact same way all the time. So what I find is that a workout or an exercise has done me very good justice if when I'm done with it, it feels like it's blown me up like a balloon. For instance, if I do the same lat exercise every time I walk into the gym, after about 2 to 3 weeks, the exercise is going to become less potent. If you don't understand this, look up what is called law of accommodation and you will see what I mean. The next exercise that I love to use is a reverse incline row. Now the reason for this is that when I'm leaned over on an incline, if I was doing this free weight on my feet, I would start to get a lot of lower back activation, maybe even some temperamental issues on my lower back or my legs because I just trained them yesterday. So the trick is with this is I can really focus on the area I want. A good way to do it is to start with your knuckles forward and end with your knuckles back. You're going to find that this type of rotation is really going to smoke your lat in a way that a normal lift just would not do. I can feel this isn't nearly as hard as turning it as I lift. Now you're also noticing I'm doing it one side at a time. Now what I find is that when you get stronger, doing stuff one-sided at a time is actually going to help range of motion. What ends up happening is that your back muscles start to get so big, close together, that they actually restrict each other from getting full contraction. So from separating the isolateral sides, left and right, what you're going to start noticing is that you're going to get more back activation due to the fact that the left and the right side aren't combating themselves for room. So if I'm only working one side, I got more room to work that side. The next thing you're going to need in your training cycle is just different types of resistance. Now the reason that I like bands for doing lat work is the simple fact that back here is the most tension. So here is the easiest, here is the hardest. In cables, they're the same both at the front and the back, and with dumbbells, they're the same both the front and the back. That's an advantage too, but the disadvantage is it's the same. So if I'm pulling with a band, the muscles are going to have to react to a completely different environment, therefore hopefully increase our chances of growing more muscle tissue. Plus, my back muscles are mostly activated towards the back part of the lift. So that's where it's at the hardest. So I pause for 1 second and come back. I notice this is hitting my muscles in a completely different way than doing a normal cable or a normal dumbbell, just based on the fact my muscles are confused that the environment is changing from long to shortened. So in closing, we need to remember a couple key things. 1, change the exercises. You got to have a multitude of exercises to attack the muscles and keep them away from law of accommodation. 2, change the tempos. Slow things down. If your main goal is to get more muscle tissue, time under tension is your friend, therefore tempos are your friend. And last but certainly not least, change resistances. Bands, dumbbells, chains, and cable machines are all going to create different types of resistance, therefore a different book for the muscle to read, so to speak. The more books you can read, the bigger your knowledge gets, and the more exercises you have, the larger the muscles can grow. If you guys like what you saw on the channel, go on wenningstrength.com, look up the manuals, and get on the Patreon channel to see all this stuff in full effect.